Hello everyone, it's Sonny McDonald and welcome to this week's live around being a CEO and what it takes, and also the stuff ups that I've made along the years and the lessons I've learnt, and also around why kindness and courage and being inclusive truly matter when it comes to being a great CEO, great leader. So recently I've been, and happy Friday too. Yay, it's Friday. Interestingly enough, as a CEO, though, you do get lost. You do lose track of the day. So, and I'm getting much better at that. But I have been reading this great book. It's called Three Peaks Leadership by Philip Levinson, and it's how to make it as a CEO and beyond. And it kind of prompted me while I was reading this book to do a live around being a CEO. Because I hope this book in particular, it's a great book, really inspires you not only to look at being a CEO and think about what it takes to be a CEO, but also what it takes to be a great leader. Now, remember, I always say leadership isn't a role or title. Leadership's an attitude, it's a mindset, and it's also a behavior. And recently I was a keynote speaker at a scaling up conference, and there were about 100 great executives, MDs, leaders in the room about scaling up their businesses. And I spoke about leadership. And leadership is kind of, I believe, the center pole of everything that you're going to do when you are leading a business, running a business, growing a business. And I think when I started my business and took on this role of CEO there were so many things that I wish that I had done differently. And obviously all these things are a learning process, but I really wish I'd become a lot more aware of who I was when I became a CEO of my company. Now, here's me, the CEO of two leadership companies, Leadership HQ, McDonald Inc. And when I started Leadership HQ 14 years ago, I kind of jumped into it with this courage and sort of felt like, I'm going to jump into it, I'm going to give it a crack. And I wish even back then, it's something that I teach and coach others in, that I had become a lot more self-aware about who I was as a leader, what my values were, understanding my strengths, understanding my triggers, understanding my leadership shadow. Along the way, I've become a lot more aware of who I am as a leader, because I lead the business as a CEO. I lead the business. I'm the one that kind of leads the culture. I'm the one that brings in the vibe, the passion, the focus, taking everyone along the journey. So I think that self-awareness is really key, because I've had so many business plans and strategies over the years, which I think is so important, but you are the one that's leading that, but also making sure that you have got the right culture. So really identifying what your culture is. So again, what you stand for, what's your mission, okay, why you do what you do, what's your vision, what are your values, and that staying focused on that and living and breathing and espousing that each and every day, I think is so key when you're a CEO of a business as well. What else? When it takes to be a CEO and all the different things that I've done. The other thing, getting the right people on the bus. It's so important that you get the right people on your team, the right people that are helping you kind of steer and run the ship. I think that's really important, that they are aligned, again, to your culture and your values, that you are about being a high-performance team together. I'd have to say, over the 14 years, one thing that I've learned is sometimes I have brought the wrong people on the bus, and it's really been detrimental to my company. So having the right people on the bus, and also showing how much you care about them, I think is really important. Recently, in the last year, I've put on an operations leader, and she's turned out to be my greatest asset. And she's been her attitude and her values alignment has just been incredible. So that's really important. The other thing I think as a CEO that I kind of have learned over the years, other than the fact that self-awareness is really important, and also making sure that you have you're very clear on the culture, is really doing what you love doing. I think that's really important, really believing in what you do. So I believe that mindset is really important, and attitude. So staying really focused on why you do what you do, and being really clear on that. Taking care of yourself. Now, I talk about kindness a lot, right? Because when you're kind, you start to build relationships with other people, you connect, you build trust, shows that you really care. You can still be strong, I think, definitely as a CEO, and set boundaries, but also you can do it with kindness. I think that's really important, but also self-kindness. There's been so many times over the 14 years that I've had, the companies, that I've been really tough on myself, and self-kindness, I think, is fundamental. And that resilience is really, really key, that you keep moving forward, you keep learning from your mistakes, and you keep just moving forward, I think is really important as a CEO. And also the fact, I think that self-kindness and kindness to others, I think we kind of see it as a weakness. I think we're getting much better at this. I think organizations now, I don't know if you noticed this with COVID last year, the organizations that really focused on people over profit, I think are really standing out. Those CEOs that went, hey, I know we're all in this together. I don't know what's going to happen now or next, whatever. There's lots of uncertainty, and I realize that, but this is what we stand for. This is what I'm going to do. I love seeing all the CEOs that really kind of said, you know what, I'm going to take pay cuts. I don't want to lose staff. We're all focused on people. It was great seeing that type of leadership. I think that's really key as a CEO, that we keep doing that. And again, you know what you stand for. That is, I think, fundamental as a CEO, that you focus on your people, because you don't have an organization without the people in the organization. I love the fact in this particular book, and I'm a bit of a fan of the first 100 days. I think it's around, as a CEO, especially if you're new to an organization. We work with a lot of CEOs or even execs or COOs or CEOs that are new to an organization, is not going in as a bull at a gate. I think sometimes I find when execs take on a CEO role or a new senior executive role, they tend to be a bit of a bull at a gate, and they kind of want to show their worth. They want to show that their leadership. So they kind of like go sometimes bang, 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 I'm going to do this, I'm going to change this. I think if you can kind of step back for the first 90 to 100 days, there's a book based on it. And Philip mentions it in this book as well. Step back, have conversations, get to know the lay of the land. I think that's really key. I think as a CEO, if you jump in and on day one start to make changes or start to restructure or move things, again, depending where the company is, I think that's really important, that you spend time getting to know the culture, getting to know the people, getting to know the key players as well. I do see that as a mistake from a number of different new execs and CEOs as well. I think the other thing that it is really important around success is building a high-performance team, building a team around you where you are working together. I might, even, I know that people say I'm the CEO of my company, but I don't see it like that. I see that we're all working together, we're all one. But in saying that, as a CEO, I'm accountable and responsible for absolutely, a lot of different things around governance, around the financials, around taking care of people. There's a lot to do and take on board to be accountable as a CEO. But I always talk about that we're all one team, and that's really important to me. And I'm very passionate about building us as a high-performance team. Again, you're only as good as your team. So as a CEO, make sure that you've got a great team, great people around you, and that you're all aligned as well. I think that's really important. And as I said, he talks about, even in this book, you set the culture, and I think that is also important. The other thing I think, and it's again a mistake that I made, and I'm really I wish I'd learnt this lesson really early on, is great CEOs know what their strengths are. And great CEOs surround themselves with people with different strengths to them, and diversity, and bringing on different people from different backgrounds, different experiences, different skill sets is, I absolutely have people around me that have different strengths to me, and I love their strengths. I love that they have different strengths to me, and I'm much better now at delegating things. So I used to feel as though because it was my company, I felt like I had to do everything, and now I've kind of stepped back a lot and kind of gone, now I see, and it's actually the number one theme, one of the number one themes I see with executives that we work with and coach, this ability to delegate or to coach others, and lifting up their skills as well. So I think that's really important as a CEO, is that you know your team really well, you know their strengths, you know their areas of development, but you actually are able to delegate and lift and coach them up and empower them up as well, to be great in terms of what they can do to help you deliver what you need to do. So therefore you can be strategic, so you can really step back and kind of, I call it, get off the dance floor and step on the balcony and start to like really focus on the strategy of the business. I think the great thing about being a CEO, and again, another lesson learned, I wish I'd done it a lot sooner, is having a great board around you. Now I've just engaged an advisory board to help me in my business. I wish I'd done it a lot sooner. These leaders that I've approached that are now working with us are just incredible. Or having a board is having the right board around you and working really closely with that board, I think is, again, I wish I'd done it a lot sooner. Great CEOs, I think, really need to have that tribe and that board around them to really help them, again, help them around building and growing and having great organizations. I think having a great board around you is really important. I think as well, I remember years ago, and again, another learning is I wished, and here I am all about being kind and courageous and inclusive, is it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to say, you know what, I don't know how we're going to navigate this. I don't have the answer. I don't have the solution. Vulnerability, I think, is power. I think we've become a lot better at understanding that it's not work life, it's just life, and that stuff happens. Years ago, things were happening for me, and I wish I was a lot more open and vulnerable about it. And when I started to be more vulnerable as a CEO with my team and associates around what was going on, they kind of really stepped up and jumped in to help me. But again, I felt that I had to be this like superhero and I had to kind of navigate it on my own. Whereas it's okay to go, you know what? I don't know, I have the answers. I'm struggling. I need your help. Okay, I think that's a really important part as a CEO. The other thing as well as a leader and as a CEO, I think it is, again, you are the person that is kind of like everyone's helping you steer the ship, but you're the one that's really navigating the direction and the vision. And I think being that person is important as a CEO to go, this is where I want to take us, come with me. And I think as well, being open to suggestions and feedback. I think, again, just saying, hey, how am I going? Being open and approachable to feedback is really important if you want to be a great CEO. And leaving your ego at the door, okay? I understand that, again, you're a CEO, but we're all human, and I think it's really important that you kind of leave your ego at the door, and by showing that kindness and compassion and that you're human, and I think it's really, really important. Now, Andrew's gone, my advice for a CEO is to forgive your staff first mistakes and explain to them what you expect. Second mistake, you also let them know what they are doing wrong. But third mistake, they are not for your business. Okay, very nice. Thank you so much, Andrew, around the coaching as well. I agree. It's having the right people on the bus is really, really important, and understanding making sure. It's amazing how much, I talk to organizations, and I get it around the whole kindness thing, but I think there's only so many times you can be kind in terms of that. You need to start to go, I need to be courageous here. Maybe this person isn't the right person for the bus. So thank you so much for that input. So, and also I think the other thing I think is really important, I know I've mentioned this book a few times, and he mentions it in the book. Last year during COVID, I remember when COVID hit, everyone was looking at me for direction and also looking at how I would respond to uncertainty or respond to what was going on with the challenges of COVID. And I can tell you now, last year is, I'd have to say, I'm going to use the word, was a shit show for so many people, including us. We learned a lot about ourselves last year. And I stayed so focused on our values, so focused. As a CEO, I went, you know what? There were people that came up to us and said, I mean, we had our Outstanding Leadership Awards last year. We've got them again this year. Don't do the awards. Like, events aren't going to happen. And I said, courage is part of our values, okay? We have to stay courageous. We have to stay resilient. We have to stay brave. So pleased we did. So staying true to your values is really important. And I was also incredibly authentic and open to, hey, this is what's going on. And there were days we went, wow, can we do this? But we did it. Is, you know, when you're navigating any uncertainty or any kind of challenges, particularly like from last year, is making sure that you have those people around you, that you're in it all together, that you really appreciate. Can I tell you, I think a lot of us did, like, the value of our teams and our people, but staying true to your purpose and what you do and your values. Not going off kilter with that, because when you stay true to your leadership and your values, you can get through anything. The other thing that I think as a CEO is really important, and I'm talking about, like, me being a CEO, my business isn't, like, my companies aren't big. These are kind of small businesses / companies, is mindset. Is mindset and focus is so important, believing in yourself and having that confidence. There's definitely times I have the imposter syndrome. Believe you me, there's times that I go, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. But I then go, I look at what we've created. I look at, you know, the differences and the impact that we've made. I look at the books. I look at the things that we've done together as a team that I've been able to create and we've created together. So we've, like, that mindset and confidence, even at times you might go, I do feel like the imposter syndrome, and a lot of us do, right? Is just go, you know what, I've got this. Is being positive, being confident, building, again, a tribe of people around you that also believe in you and can lift you up. I also think, as a CEO, your greatest gift as a CEO and as a leader is to help others be more, learn more, and do more. That is your role. Your role is obviously kind of to espouse the culture with the values and the behaviors and also set the direction and the strategy. But your role is also to make people be the best versions of themselves. And I think that is so key as a CEO. If you can do that, if you can do those things, I think that would be great. And I think as well, in terms of other things, I mean, I love Patrick Lencioni's work as well around the 5 dysfunctions of a team, or I call them the 5 functions of a team. Things like building that trust is fundamental, making people accountable, being open to having courageous conversations, focusing on results. Those sort of things, I think, again, are really important as a CEO. That you're espousing, and that also that you are thanking and showing gratitude to your people, saying thank you, acknowledging them. I call it leadership by walking around, LBWA. You know, only this week I gave our operations leader a wonderful gift that I knew that she would love, just to say how much I appreciate her and I'm grateful for her. And I think she was so taken back that I said, well, that's what we're here for. We need to understand what motivates the people around us, our great people, and thank them for them and reward them and celebrate them as well. So I would love to know if there's any questions that you might like to ask me, because I'm very cognizant of I don't want to keep talking all the time. If you would love to, I've got a book called First Comes Courage. I'll grab it. I'll show you. It's a really beautiful book if you'd love to grab it. This is a great book as well of leaders, and I actually talk about kindness and courage and impact and purpose in the book. But if you have any questions, I'll wait online for a few more minutes. If you've got any questions you'd like to ask me in this live, if you'd love to get some free tools, reach out to us. We do free consultations as well. We've got some free tools on our website, leadershiphq.com.au, to help you be the best you can be. We run some really wonderful online programs and also face-to-face workshops and programs as well. I would love, as you know, I'd love to see more women stepping up into leadership roles as well. So grab this book called First Comes Courage. Is there anything that anyone would like to ask me? Write it in the comments as well. The other thing that he talks about, which I think is really important, is networking. Networking is really, really important as a leader. Being also very cognizant around what you talk about, where you go in terms of networking. I love that he mentions in the book, and I actually sent him a copy of this picture as well, and I be tough but be kind as well. I thought that was actually really important. Is there any questions anyone would love to ask me about being a CEO of small companies or businesses? I'm here and I would love to answer any questions. Thank you. Your door is always open, and make it noted. It should always be available. Yes, absolutely. I think it's being approachable is really important. But you don't want to have a door too much where it's revolving as well, because you need to get your job done. So maybe I think that's important, though, the approachability thing. Andrew, thank you for that. Is there anyone else that has any questions that I am on this live today? And as I said, please reach out to us at Leadership HQ if you do have any questions. And the other thing, finally, I always say, a lot of people kind of go, oh, I don't know if I want to be a CEO. I don't know if I actually want to be an MD of my own business or start my own business. Can I tell you, though, it is so great to, even though there's been days and there's absolutely lots of CEOs that we coach that go, wow, this is much tougher than I expected, but it's so rewarding and it's such an honor to be actually leading people. And it's, again, you are leading people. You're there to help them be more, learn more, and do more. I think if you always remember that and focus on that, that'll make a big difference. And don't feel fear. Don't kind of embrace the fear and go for it. Put your hand up for these opportunities as well. Invest. Can I tell you, the greatest leaders are the ones, leaders are readers. So keep investing in your self-development. Keep learning. That's another key thing. I think that, I look back and I'm so grateful I always kept learning. And I see a lot of CEOs that stuff up, or F up, as I like to say, that don't keep learning, and they don't keep self-reflecting as well. They think they know it all and they don't. I think that's really important, and that you learn from your failures. I have effed up so many times. I've failed so many times over the last 14 years, and at the time they suck. But then I go, well, you know what? I've actually learnt my greatest lessons from these stuff ups. So keep learning and keep stuff it up, because it's really important you learn from that. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for listening to my live today. Again, this is a great book. Grab my book, First Comes Courage. If there's anything we can do to help you kind of step into leadership, get a seat at the table, help you start your business, look at that journey of becoming a CEO, reach out to us at Leadership HQ or McDonald Inc. We're so passionate about seeing more great leaders that lead with kindness and courage and being inclusive. Wouldn't you love that? Wouldn't you love to work with CEOs and leaders that really espouse and are about that type of leadership? We need more leaders. We need that all around the globe. So reach out to us if we can help you in any way, because we're all about helping you be the best that you can be. And always remember to stay kind and courageous, and let's keep lifting each other up and supporting each other. Okay, it's so important that we lift each other up. It's Friday, so have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Okay, and thank you for listening to my live. You take care. Thank you.